And Lance, what can you tell us about this?
Well, I can tell you that I was on my way up toward Broadway on the north side of town to try to get to that area where they had one of the fatalities this morning. And we were cutting through this neighborhood and just happened upon this flooded area here. As you mentioned, I'm at 26th and Topaz, and as you kind of push in a little bit, you can see a car stranded down there. A number of people out by that car. I've talked to one neighbor here, and he told me that that car tried to make it up to the street a little bit earlier today, and that's about as far as they've made it. That car's been there for about 3 hours. The neighbors are telling me that this flood seems to be getting a little bit worse. I'm going to ask Jim Weiss, the photographer, to pan over to the left now to show the force of the water that is moving through the front yard and side yard of this house here. We are told that this is 4 Mile Creek that is overflowing its banks and coming through one neighborhood. Now, this stretch of street is shut down for about a 2-block area. They've got barricades up. We've seen a couple of vehicles kind of come through anyway, trying to make their way through over the pavement. The pavement looks to be in good condition, but the areas on both sides of that pavement are starting to wash out. Now let's go ahead and pan back over here to the area where that car was. You can see where Topaz Street looks like a river, literally. With me right now is Tim Leddy. He lives just across the street behind us. Tim, you've got a creek flowing in front of your house too. What's it been like all morning long?
Well, we've been trying to deal with the water, making sure that we can kind of free things up so the water can kind of move through. The fences form a natural dam, so we've had to been breaking through fences just so the water wouldn't rise up and get into our basements and that sort of thing. And you can see here the neighbors across the street totally inundated, and it's been that way since about 5 this morning. And when I got up at 5, the water was just to the start of the street here. It's risen up, and it's actually at one point got to the double yellow line and has flowed over into the other side of the street. So the big danger is for this water to keep coming and basically to get us on the other side of the street. One
question I've been asking a number of people all day long is, do you think the worst is over? What do you think?
Well, I don't think so. I hear from the weather report we're expecting another 3 inches. I don't think we've seen the last of it yet. I thought earlier on that it had crested, but it seems to keep rising, and we're downstream.
And I've looked at a couple of homes here. This one here with the river or the creek raging through its front yard. I talked with the woman who lives in the house just across the street from it. She told us that they've got flood waters coming into their homes. How many homes? Any idea how many have flooded?
I think everything on the west side of this street, west side of 26th Street for the next 2 blocks is pretty much flooded.
Have police come by and told you anything? Have there been any reverse 911 calls?
There have not. No, not at this point.
Okay. Are you preparing to leave if you have to?
We are. My wife is packing up right now. We are planning to if we have to evacuate. If the water does come across the street, it'll probably get into our house and we'll have to leave.
Now, as long as I've been in Colorado, I've seen situations. The big flood, Crow Creek up in Cheyenne killed almost a dozen people. The big flood in Fort Collins that killed a similar number. That was back in the mid-90s. But I've never seen a flood rainstorm that extends over days and days and days like this one here. Your thoughts about that?
Oh, I wish it would just stop raining. Colorado's typically dry, and we always pray for rain. I think we got our wish and then some.
And your thoughts when you look down Topaz?
I'm really nervous. Actually, I'm concerned that we're not seeing the worst of it, and we're not out of this yet. So I think we need to be prepared for worse.
You've got to be prepared for any eventuality. Thank you for taking the time to visit with us. We do appreciate that. Yeah. I hope that you guys stay safe and sound, all right? That was Mr. Tim Leddy with the North Boulder neighborhood, lives near here, 26th and Topaz. Again, a number of people telling me today that they've watched this water rise over the last 2 or 3 hours and that it seems to be getting worse. Again, we're going to take a last look at what I am told is 4 Mile Creek that normally flows just about a half block away. It's way out of its channels, coming way out of its channels to the west and sweeping through this Boulder neighborhood and through these front yards. Again, we know that there are a number of basements that are flooding in this neighborhood here, a number of homes probably waterlogged, soggy carpets, that type of thing. We don't know the extent of the damage and probably won't for a while, but we know it's going to be difficult to get into some of those homes because of that raging water. It's just an amazing sight here that we just happened upon. And again, you take a look down Topaz and you see water rushing over what looks like boulders. We're being told that those stumps and boulders were not in the street until that water started cascading down through the area here. So it's very troubling treacherous in that area. And again, people are being told not to come out unless they absolutely have to. Reporting live in Boulder, I'm Lance Hernandez. Back to you.